19 kids and counting alums and sisters Jinger Duggar Vuolo, Jessa Duggar Seewald and Joy Anna Forsyth shared insight into their respective pregnancy losses in a rare joint conversation. The Duggar sisters are sharing a difficult chapter in their lives. Jinger Duggar Vuolo, Jessa Duggar Seewald and Joy Anna Forsyth reflected on the devastating reality of their respective pregnancy losses. "Mine was at probably 6.5, 7 weeks along," Jinger said on the July 9 episode of her and husband Jeremy Vuolo's The Jinger and Jeremy podcast in the rare joint interview with her two sisters. "I had just announced to the family. We had a big gathering on Zoom because we were in LA. Their sweet moment was cut short after spotting later that night. I was just like, oh, it's probably fine," Jinger, who shares kids Felicity, 6, Evangeline, 4, and 3-month-old Finnegan with Jeremy, recalled. "I know some people have that and we'd be fine. But for me, it wasn't. It ended up that was the night when it all turned into, what's happening." The 31-year-old admitted that since her first pregnancy was perfect, she believed that everything was gonna be fine. For Jinger, the 6th eldest child of Michelle Duggar and Jim Bob Duggar, the physical pain was compounded by the emotional toll of grieving without her family nearby. She explained, "I had Jer as my support, but you also want your mom or a sister there." She admitted that after her miscarriage in 2019, she wasn't sure if she'd be able to carry another pregnancy to term. Jinger noted that, "There is a fear that you face when expecting a baby again." Jessa, meanwhile, detailed having her first miscarriage when she and husband Ben Seewald were attending a wedding in 2020. "I went to the bathroom and there was so much blood," the reality star, who is currently pregnant with their 6th baby, shared. "I was crying and we're about to go into this wedding and you feel, to some degree, that you have to pull it together cause you've traveled and you're here." Moving forward, the couple, who were 5 weeks along and were waiting to share the pregnancy after the first trimester, decided to share the news as soon as they found out, so they could lean on their families. Just 2 years later, the 32-year-old experienced her second miscarriage at 12 weeks, noting how when she went to the doctor, she learned the baby hadn't had a heartbeat for weeks. "It was a missed miscarriage, which means you don't have the signs and symptoms that something has gone wrong and your body hasn't really caught up," Jessa, mom to Spurgeon, 9, Henry, 8, Ivy, 6, Fern, 3, George, 18 months, explained. "There were lots of different layers to that. Just like, no, we've made it to the second trimester. You're supposed to be safe once you get there." For Joy Anna, what had begun as a great pregnancy, with her second baby ended in heartbreak when she delivered her and husband Austin Forsyth's 17-week stillborn daughter Annabelle in 2019. The couple had waited a year before getting pregnant following the birth of their eldest son, Gideon, now 7, since Joy Anna had to undergo an emergency C-section. But after realizing she hadn't felt the baby kick in a few weeks, they went to the doctor, whose face completely sunk during the appointment as Joy Anna and Austin learned there was no heartbeat. "It wasn't until a week later that we went into the hospital and delivered Annabelle there," she said. "That was extremely hard, going through the whole delivery process." The 27-year-old, who also shares kids Evelyn, 4, and Gunnar, 2, with Austin, was grateful to have had a great support system amid the tragic experience, but emphasized that it was still extremely difficult. "It doesn't matter at what gestation, your body still thinks that you're pregnant," she said. "Even if you're mentally struggling, physically, your body is struggling because it's wrecked your system." She added, "It takes a long time physically for your body to recover from that." For a closer look at the Duggar family tree, keep reading. The parents of 19 and grandparents of over 3 dozen little ones started out as high school sweethearts. Michelle has recalled being saved at 15. Then, one night, Jim Bob was making home outreach visits on behalf of his Baptist church and he ended up knocking on the Ruark family's door after his friend told him that this girl from school that just got saved and is a cheerleader lived there. They invited Michelle to Sunday school at their church and, Jim Bob said, he prayed to God that they could be each other's spiritual leaders, though apparently their first meeting wasn't as memorable for Michelle. A year later, she applied for a job at the frozen yogurt shop owned by Jim Bob's parents. "You came to the counter where I was standing by the cash register and introduced yourself," Michelle remembered in a letter posted on the family blog in 2017 for Jim Bob's birthday and their 33rd wedding anniversary. "You were shy but very sweet. I really don't remember much about that conversation, except that you finally mustered up the courage to ask me if I would go to your junior-senior banquet with you." She attended the dinner with him at Shiloh Christian, but it was when they hung out afterward discussing the Bible for hours at her parents' house that she knew. From there, we believe our hearts were knit together, Michelle has said. We graduated high school in May of 1984 and were married in July. I was 17 and Jim Bob was 19. The couple dedicated themselves to God and each other for the long run. Jim Bob is a former state legislator, having served in the Arkansas House of Representatives for the 6th District from 1999 until 2002, during which he was vice chair of the House of Corrections and Criminal Law Subcommittee. A run for U.S. Senate in 2002 ended in the primary, as did a bid in 2006 to become the Republican nominee for Arkansas State Senate District 35. He and Michelle, who are both licensed realtors, have been active in conservative causes, an aspect of their lifestyle that won them in 19 Kids and Counting, which premiered in 2008 as 17 Kids and Counting, both proud supporters and fierce critics. As of October 2024, they were grandparents of 33 with 3 on the way. Eldest Duggar child Josh Duggar was born March 3, 1988. He too became a conservative activist, campaigning for the Family Research Council. He stepped down after old police records surfaced in 2015 revealing that he had been accused of molesting several girls, including his sisters Jessa Duggar and Jill Duggar, when he was a teenager. Jessa defended her brother in a sit-down with Fox News that June, insisting that the worst names people were calling Josh were so overboard and a lie, really. I mean, people get mad at me for saying that, but I can say this because I was one of the victims. His wife Anna Duggar, whom he married in a September 26, 2008, ceremony featured on 19 Kids and Counting, also stuck by him, including after he admitted to being unfaithful. When he checked into a treatment center in 2016, his parents called it a crucial first step in recovering and healing. Parents of 3, daughter Mackenzie October 8, 2009, and sons Michael June 15, 2011, and Marcus June 2, 2013, when the scandal broke, Anna gave birth to their 4th child, Meredith, on July 16, 2015, the same day TLC canceled 19 Kids. Their 5th child, son Mason Garrett, was born September 12, 2017, daughter Mariella Hope arrived November 27, 2019 and baby No. 7, Madison Lily, was born October 23, 2021. In a federal indictment filed in April 2021, Josh was charged with a count apiece of receipt and possession of child pornography. He pleaded not guilty on both counts. In 2022, Josh was found guilty of both, but the possession charge was vacated by the judge and sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. Reading time, 3 minutes. Jinger Duggar paints a decidedly cozy picture of her notorious family. Right now, Josh is in prison where he belongs. The family cult's abuses and extreme beliefs continue to be exposed. But, to hear Jinger and her husband describe it, things are so great now. Maybe for her. One has to wonder if she briefly forgot Jill's situation as she describes her latest trip to Arkansas. Recently, Jinger Duggar and Jeremy Vuolo ventured where others dare not tread, the Duggar compound in Arkansas. The couple reflected upon the visit on the July 2 episode of their The Jinger and Jeremy podcast. You know, it's a really special family, Jeremy generously appraised his in-laws. He then wildly claimed, like, it's a really fun family. They've been through a lot these last few years, the Duggars have, Jeremy Vuolo acknowledged. Despite the long overdue end of their reality TV empire and Josh's hard-earned prison sentence, he added, it seems like everyone's in a really good place. Jeremy added vaguely, everyone's had to work through things in their own ways. Later, Jeremy Vuolo continued to describe wife Jinger Duggar's family by saying, things are in a really good place with our family now. They also discussed the family home and how much things have changed with so many Duggar children now being Duggar adults. You have maybe 5 kids who live there now, Jinger noted. That is a tremendous number of children under one roof, unless, of course, you are one of 19 siblings. And they're all grown, the youngest Josie is, 15, Jordan she's grown up. Jenny's grown up, Johanna's grown up, Jinger described. Notably, she speaks of her siblings as many of us might speak of a cousin's children whom we see every few years. When I left, that was a long time ago, Jinger recalled. It was 8.5 years ago and those little kids are all grown up. And it's hard for me to picture the little kids as teenagers and as adults now. All empty nesters cope in different ways. Many millennials comparing notes find that their moms keep informally adopting young adult neighbors. Jinger Duggar revealed that her parents have now filled their property with a whole farm's worth of goats, chickens, cows, and other livestock. Although the Duggar home now lacks kids, Jinger said it does have new residents, a whole bunch of goats, chickens, and cows.